Hey guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Mark. In this video I wanted to talk about just everyday situations, how we're dealing with situational things in our 3D reality, where we could get hung up and what we should do to better heal. So if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel, hit that notification bell, and you'll be notified when I release new videos. So, in this 3D reality, we're constantly focused on situational things, day-to-day life, maybe things at work, things within our family, relationships, so on and so forth. And on a daily basis, we get into situations where we maybe will react a certain way. A thought will come up that maybe doesn't feel so good. And we align with that energy and we kind of go off to try to solve the problem from that perspective. Maybe something happens at work and it triggers a familiar response, and therefore we identify with those thoughts. It creates more thoughts in alignment, and before you know it, we're off in some sort of panic or anxiety situation. Blood pressure goes up, whatever it may be. Just this anxiety, and that's just our mind trying to take over because it feels something familiar. So what it feels are these emotions, and these emotions are tied to patterns. And when we have experiences, we have emotional charges to them, and when we don't process these emotions, they get buried in our body and they will come back up to be released later. It's our soul's way of showing us what needs to be healed. Okay, our soul's high frequency energy can't ground and come up into our awareness through our body unless we clear space for it, unless we clear the way, we clear the wobble of these energetic blockages, which means we have to build pathways, we have to build circuitry in our body. Think of it as creating little miniature highways so that this high frequency energy could come down and just flow very fast, with as little turbulence as possible, up through our body. So it comes down, it grounds, bounces off the earth, comes back up, and it showers out around us. That's the energy flow. That's the torque field that it creates around us. So when we're in these situations, a lot of times we allow our mind to take over, and our mind is going to search for a common situation in the past as a memory, and it's going to continue to bring up these feelings, and then we go off in this thought process and we make whatever situation just occurred into a problem that lasts a lot longer than it should. So it's very important to be highly aware of these feelings. Okay, the emotions are the key in these situations. Whenever something happens, you have to take a step back from the manifestation in the physical, whether it's a situation at work or it's an email you receive or something like that, and you have to immediately feel the emotion that came up. Be directed right back to that emotion. That's where the work gets done. That's where the healing takes place. Okay, we have to detach from the situation. The situation is just a replay of an energetic blockage that our soul is reflecting out so that we can heal. Okay, but the key is to focus on the emotion, the emotional charge, the feeling that comes along with that, not the situation itself. These situations are going to manifest many different ways. You're going to have the same emotional response, the same emotional trigger. It's going to appear in many different ways throughout your life. And when we want to go back to our memory banks and try to find a matching situation, we don't really process that emotion. We kind of validate it and we say, oh, okay, well, this has happened before and I felt that way before, so that's why I'm feeling that way now. Okay, but the key is we're being shown these emotions that need to be felt. So when we get in any type of situation that triggers some sort of a dense emotional response, we want to go right to that feeling. And if it's something physical within the body that grabs our attention, maybe we'll get some whatever, some aches somewhere, some gastrointestinal distress, maybe a pain in your side or your back, pain in your head, whatever it may be. That is where your body is showing you that this emotional trigger, this energy, this dense energy is being stored, it's being held. And basically the soul is saying, okay, we need to focus and bring awareness to this area so that we can bring more of our higher self through and let it flow unrestricted through the body. So when we get into these types of situations, we need to really just pause and feel. Go right to the emotion. And it's not going to feel good. Isn't that why we don't look at the emotional piece? We kind of stay in the mental simulation piece. We stay in the mental body and we try to come up with a rationalization for why we're feeling the way we are. Right? We don't want to feel these emotions. But I can tell you, if you start to focus on the emotion and realize, bring awareness to what's happening, that you're being shown something by your higher self that needs healing, and you could start breathing into that. If it's an area in your body, start breathing into that area of your body. You're going to feel that you're going to lessen that charge because you're going to start to process, you're going to start to integrate, you're going to start to build circuitry in that area, raise the frequency in that area of your body. Okay, and then what's going to happen is you're going to notice when something in the future triggers you or would have triggered you, you're not going to feel that same sort of charge anymore. You're going to start to just instantly move into the feeling, and you're going to be aware, and you're going to say, well, I'm not responding or reacting to that situation as I would have, let's say, a week or 2 weeks or a month or a year ago. And that's a sign of growth. Okay? So we want to move back into the emotion and into the feeling, because everything here in 3D is designed for us to experience and feel. All right, and when things don't feel good, those are our opportunities to raise our frequency, to raise our vibration, and ground more of our higher self. So take those opportunities, start making that a new a new habit to pause. Whenever something happens, maybe something happens that you don't expect, something happens that you really don't like, go stop and go right to the feeling. Go right to the emotion you're feeling and sit with it and breathe into it, breathe through it. Scan your body. Does it feel bad anywhere? Bring awareness to that area of your body. Use your breath, do the conscious breathing. Okay, just create that space. And the other thing with this is when you start doing this, you're going to realize that what you experienced and thought maybe was a problem that you needed to find a solution for, when you could create that space, feel those emotions and sit with them, you're going to get more aligned. You're going to get more centered. You're going to realize that it is not in fact a problem, and you're going to be more in touch with the knowing and the guidance and the answers that are going to move you right through that with very little resistance. Okay, now I know it takes practice, but start with the small things. You're feeling any sort of emotional charge with something you see, something you hear, something in an email you receive, something at work, whatever it may be. Move right into that emotion and scan the body. Sit with it, breathe into it, and continue to do that. And as bigger things come up, you're going to know instinctively, it's going to be a new habit to just go right into that emotion and feel it. Okay? And then you're going to realize that, hey, this problem really wasn't so big as my mind wanted to make it out to be, because that's what my mind had done in the past. That's what it was conditioned to do. Okay, so we're rewiring ourselves, we're building circuitry, we're creating space so that we can ground and integrate more of our soul. Okay, and that's going to allow us to move through this dense reality with much, much less resistance and much less suffering. So I hope this video resonated with you guys. Please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I would really appreciate it. Until next time, love and light.